We've opted to modify our own suspension here. We have the tow arm and the camber arm for the rear of the 240. We have purchased a steel rod from McMaster-Carr. We're gonna be drilling and tapping that out for these heim joints and making a modifiable, adjustable rear suspension.
Yeah, so what we're trying to do here is basically make this, instead of this was like a bushing originally, and with this we'll put it here so it's at the mid-range of adjustment at the stock length. So you can turn this and change how long this I believe is a tow rod, and that will help adjust the tow, because when you're drifting, like if you want to get more grip, just add in a little toe in the rear. And before we could do that with the stock ones, and this is actually going to be cheaper and get us exactly what we want compared to if you like go online somewhere and order the parts yourself or order the already built parts.
Yeah, I believe we got all the heim joints for a total under $100, right?
Yeah, under 100. Probably everything here is probably under $100.
Yeah.
Or right around $100.
Yeah.
And that's enough to do your 4 rear control arms, so your toe length, your camber arms on both sides, and then also the tension rods in the front, which control the caster, and the caster is going to affect your steering feel.
I know positive caster makes the wheels snap back straight.
Yep.
So we're going to go for a little bit of that. And again, the idea of going this route is because we're going to build multiple sets. I mean, this is a cheaper route. When I want to build a breakaway corner or something I can repair, I have tons of spare stock parts. So if I can
just go ahead and buy more of these.
Yep.
Once we get down to a system, we know exactly what we need. It's super quick to do that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I bought a 1 foot bar, so we can cut that into 4. We need 4 pieces. I'm going to cut this into 3 inch pieces. Give me 4 total. So I'll start by just cutting it as square as I can with the grinder after I plug it in. Our goal here is to demonstrate that even with some simple tools, you can get your suspension dialed in. There's always a better way to get a job done. In this case, a lathe and a mill might have been a little more accurate, but we were able to get this rod end set up well within reason.
So this is definitely the preferred method of cutting stuff, because it's got the nice little vise here. You're pretty much guaranteed to get it straight, so it makes for a lot less cleanup as well.
So you can see here we bought these hollow tubes because we plan on actually drilling them out to the appropriate dimensions and then tapping them with a half 20 tap, and that way we can start the heim joints directly into them, run a jam nut on it, and that'll be set up. We can weld it into the arms. So here's our final drill bit size, 29/64. We're going to be tapping it with a half 20 after that. We slowly stepped the drill bit size up to help keep this hole centered. We started with a 3/8 bit, working our way up to the final size needed for the tap. cleared off all the chips. I've added a little bit of a PV glass here to my tap. And you can see, getting close on here, this drill bit actually is wide enough so just the tip fits in there. That's going to keep it center. You know, you don't want to bend either way. You want to let it kind of pull itself in. And we'll just start tapping. We're going to go in a couple rounds and then we'll back out. That way we can clear the chips as we are cutting.
That's not, it's really crooked. Here, wait.
Yeah, just grab it.
Yeah, there you go.
Cut back. So yeah, just make sure as it's cutting in, keep an eye on it in all directions. I like to go around one time, come back half. You can feel the chips kind of break out of the way. Go down, do this maybe 10 times, pull it all the way out, check your threads, clean it out. See there, it's a little loose.
Yeah, what happens if you don't clear out your chips, the tap can get jammed and you break your tap, and that's never good because it's going to be hardened steel and it's hard to get out of. Now you basically have a junk piece there. They harden the steel on the tap and that actually makes it more brittle, so it's easier to fracture it. Use a driller. Yeah, you should never use a drill on a tap unless it's specifically meant for that.
Yeah, pull a shot of that. You can start seeing the taps going where it's cutting into.
Yep. And then to finish it up, once we're done, you can put a nice countersink in it or something if you so desire.
Clean out. Make sure you clean it out again. Don't forget that.
Because if you don't clean it out, you'll strip them. The threads you just spent all the time making.
Good thing about this, there's a hole all the way through. Threads, the chips have somewhere to go. If it's capped, make sure you take it, flip it upside down. All right, so we've tapped out this rod here. We've got the jam nut on. And we can give you an example of what this is going to look like. We're going to basically bend this out a little bit, make sure this sits down in there fully seated, and then we're going to go ahead and hit it with a bead, weld that on, and now you can see this mounts to the actual knuckle itself in the rear. This mounts to the subframe of the car, and we can actually thread this in or out now to adjust our toe settings for the rear of the car. So our center to center on the factory one is 13.5. Our new center with the edge of this bar and that about halfway, our center to center is 14 and 7/8. Subtract that, we get 1 3/8. I'm going to go ahead and mark this and remove another 1.25 inches probably. That way I have a little wiggle room and I can always cut off a little bit in there. I trimmed it up, went ahead and took I took 1 1/4 to 1 3/8 off. Our new hole is 13 and 5/8. So we're 1/8 off of factory, but we have that adjustment there, so that's not anything really to worry about. So we'll have all this room right here to weld up.